Hello everybody. We are going to talk about something today that is near and dear to my heart. So many of you, if you caught our live video, we were on Justin and Christina's live chat and we talked about all sorts of things under the sun. And there was one thing that really stuck in my mind we had a conversation about that really actually, I figured a lot of people would like the information. What that is how to keep yourself warm in winter. Let's talk about it. So first things first, I know Alicia. She works a 9 to 5, and that means that sometimes when she gets off work, she isn't quite in the shooting video mood. So I'm taking over for today. Wow, that's bright. We are gonna talk about heaters. How do you keep yourself warm in winter? When we built our van, we built it with a Colorado winter in mind. That means 17-degree weather, Fahrenheit. I know a lot of people that watch this are Canadian, so 17-degree Fahrenheit weather. And we're gonna talk about why we picked a diesel heater over a propane heater. And if I had to make the choice again, I'll tell you what I'd pick, okay? So, let's do it. First off, what's a diesel heater? What's the alternative? Diesel heaters are stuff like the S-Bar. Now that is a $1,000 diesel heater that hooks up to your battery and ultimately heats your rig off of diesel in a separate tank. If you have a diesel vehicle, you can plug the S-Bar in to your gas tank itself, but you know, it takes a little bit of finagling, and that's definitely something a professional needs to do, not some DIYer like myself. So surprise, surprise, that's not how I did mine. Recently, I don't know what happened, whether or not it was the patent ran out or something to that effect, but there's been these Chinese diesel heaters that have been hitting the market. It's not anything new. I think these guys originally hit the market last year, the year before last, and it's been a couple winters and everyone still absolutely loves them. There are a couple drawbacks, however, and I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why I love my diesel heater and 5 reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of it. So first off, the reason I love it, I can set a timer on my heater for it to kick on at a certain time. So if we need to be up at 6 a.m. or we need to be up at 5 a.m. and it's only going to get down to right around freezing, 34, 32 degrees, 0 Celsius for you Celsiusites, then I can set that timer. It'll warm up the cab for me. It takes about, 20 minutes for it to go through its warm-up cycle and warm up the cab to whatever temperature I set it at. That is a huge thing, just being able to do that on its own. The other big thing that I really, really like about it, number 2, I can set the temperature. So let's say I want my cab to remain a balmy 85 degrees, like I'm sitting on a beach drinking a cerveza. I can do that. I can set the temperature, and it'll maintain that temperature up and down until I ultimately say, okay, turn it off, or I can bump the temperature up or down if I'm going to sleep. Number 3, the third thing that I absolutely love about my diesel heater is it uses next to no diesel. So we let it run for a couple nights as it got pretty cold and already snowed here in Colorado as I make this video. We left it on, we let it run for 2 nights. The tank setup that I have is a 2-gallon tank, and it sucked through, I didn't measure it, I would imagine it was about 1/4 of a gallon to maybe 1/15 of a gallon. And that's like next to nothing, considering filling that tank up costs, I don't know, $5. It uses next to no diesel at all. I mean, it is truly, truly phenomenal as far as efficiency goes. Lighting is getting a little dark. Let's move into the sun. Okay, that's better. So, what was I on? Something? You ever have to, delete stuff off your card? It's already on my computer, but it was like, movie stopped recording because card was full. Yeah, no, it stuff I've already taken and put it on my computer. So, back to the brass tacks of it. Efficiency on batteries. We have 200 watts of solar. We have 200 amp hours of battery. I wake up and my battery bank is still full. That is considering I'm running a DC fridge. So I wake up and my batteries are at 12.6 volts, 12.7 volts. If I woke up a little bit later and they've sat in the sun, my battery banks is already charged fully. So that's the other really nice thing, is you don't have to worry about a huge electrical draw, even though initially when it turns on, it has a decent electrical draw. This next one's gonna be on both of them, is ease of use. I like it because it's an up dial or it's a down dial. That's about it. There are a couple nuances, which I'll talk about in a second, that I don't like about the software and how it works. Okay, now for the stuff I don't like. So the stuff I don't like about it, and there is stuff that I don't like about it. First off, it's loud. It's really, really loud. So now don't just turn off to the idea right away because, oh my gosh, I'm stealth camping, I don't want it. No, calm down. When it's doing its warm-up process, it's loud. The fan runs on high, the exhaust is ran on high. I think there's an auxiliary fan in the exhaust itself that actually makes it run higher, like push the exhaust out, push the diesel out. So it kind of sounds like a jet engine taking off. That lasts 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, and when the fan starts to turn down, once the glow plugs within there are warmed up, not a problem. It's super, super, super quiet. Like I said, we ran it all night and we stealth camp pretty much every single night. It's pretty awesome. The second thing that I don't like about it, welcome to America, Chinese diesel heater. There is no setting to change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if I say want to set it to 70 degrees, I have to pull out my little app on my phone, Christina, talking to you, and look and see what temperature I want it to be at. 15 degrees Celsius is freaking hot. I know that because I set it up one night and it was set to 15 degrees Celsius when I woke up. Maybe it was 20, I think it was 20 or 22. And I was like, oh yeah, that'll be like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's like 85 degrees. I woke up sweating my stinking buns off, man. It was terrible, terrible. So that's kind of a downside to it, personally. Yeah, I know, boo-hoo. Not using the metric system yet. Whatever. That's number one, ease of use. The second ease of use that I don't like about this heater is the menus are a little confusing. So when you're punching through the numbers, they have it set up so that you press the up arrow and you go through, it tells you the temperature it is now. It tells you the temperature that you set it to, but the difference between those two is how big the dot is. So what I mean by that is it's 12.0 and it's like, you know, the big degree circle. That means that it's 12 degrees Celsius in your vehicle right now. That's what the sensor's picking up. But if it's 12 little dot 0 or 12 little dot Celsius, then that's what the temperature's set to. It's kind of confusing the first or two times you do it, but ultimately it's okay. Walking on a used trail's fun. Trying to do this vlog style, also kind of awkward. So that's my second ease of use complaint. It is a pain in the butt to set up. What I mean by that is you have to drill holes, whether it's 4 or 6, you have to drill 2 holes to do it correctly. I didn't. I had a big hole in my van already and I just plumbed it through that. But you have to drill 4 mounting holes for the brackets, 2 holes, one for air intake, one for air outtake, and another hole for fuel. So 4, 2, 1, we're looking at 7 holes. If you're not super handy or you don't have the time for that, then it kind of sucks. I mean, just to be honest with you. So the next one, it takes up a lot of space. It really does. So if you look at that wave heater, which is what people like Van City Van Life and Cheap RV Living, that's what they recommend. If you look at those, the space they take up is small. It's about the space of a book. This guy takes up the space of about a cooler. You have to have a certain amount of distance from the front of it so that air can flow freely in it. And you have to have a certain amount of distance if you want to run the venting, because you have the option of venting. Like if you want to vent it one to the back and one to the front, it comes with venting and little turn knobbies. If you want to do that, then you need space to put that. Luckily, we built it into our bench. So our entire bench is ultimately our heater and a little bit of wiring for an outdoor light. One of the other things that I don't like about it is that's another fuel source to put in the van or outside the van. You're supposed to put it outside the van. We didn't. You have diesel now, which means you have to have a diesel tank to pull the fuel from. So if you're having propane and now you have diesel and you have your battery bank, that takes up a lot of space. It really honestly kind of sucks that I have a diesel tank in the van. Not to mention, if any of those lines get ruptured, if you're running any of those lines through your van or in your van, then you have diesel in your van. That's incredibly dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. Ask me how I know. Ask me in the comments. For sticking around this long, I'm gonna give you a bonus, which isn't even a bonus. The reason I love this thing and the reason we ultimately went with it is because it's a dry heat. When you burn the Olympian 3, when you burn the Mr. Buddy heater, it produces water. When propane combusts in a catalytic conversion, it's big words, right? One of the byproducts is water, is H2O. Just look up I'll put that right there. That's why a lot of people have mold problems, because they're burning this heater in there and they don't have a proper venting system. Well, guess what? I don't need an overbuilt, ridiculous venting system. It's easy. It's a dry heat, Arizona status. Yeah. As far as how much this thing costs, it costs less than the Olympian Wave. Olympian Wave's $315 US. I believe this heater was $212 and I got the awesome one. So there's that. As you can see, I'm losing light. Alicia is chilling in the van. I think it's time we go back to the van and make dinner. I'm hungry. So, if you guys find this helpful, if you like this, let me know in the comments. Let's chit chat about what heating system you have. And in a build, are you gonna use the diesel or are you gonna use propane? A lot of people are gonna cook with propane. That's a big thing to think about. Do you have room for a diesel tank, or do you wanna mount a diesel tank under or on the side of your van? Great questions. Let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help. Justin, Christina, I hope you guys found this helpful and interesting. 5 reasons I hate my diesel heater, 5 reasons I love it, and a bonus 1 reason I love it. So, I said we're gonna talk about if I would stay with the diesel heater. The answer is hell yeah. It's going in my next build for sure. No question. Like, that's not even a question. That's like asking somebody, do you want jelly with your peanut butter?
We try to stay in touch, but we had to move on. Life ran away from us.